Fantastic. So there's people logging in from all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll get this underway straight away. My name's Michael Firth. I'm one of the lucky founding field advisory board members with Neumi. Blessed to have found out about this when we started about July last year. We have rocketing growth like you have never seen in a company in your lives. Today, I know some people were expecting Joe Fabregas to be hopping online. He must apologise. He's just having some adverse reactions from a little jab he just had. And so just before the call, he said, I may not be able to be on, but I know there's a lot of people know about Joe. Joe's the sort of people we're attracting. He's been in the industry with about 1 million people in his home-based business in the past. That is the quality and calibre of people that we're attracting. So you no doubt hear from Joe next week. But with that in mind, this is a corporate call, a meet and greet, an opportunity to meet the founder, the president, and our director of sales and marketing. So I'm going to hand you over, if you want to unmute Ryan, to our director of sales and marketing, Ryan Scott.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Neumi prospecting call. It's good to see everybody at a different time. We do these calls during the day usually, and it's nice to do once a week in the evening, and we can get a whole heap of new.
Yeah, it's a bad connection. What I'm going to do, guys, I'll just jump in where we let off there, and I'll give you a bit of background due to technology. I have the amazing privilege right now to introduce you to Steve Scott. I met Steve Scott about 14 years ago. If you don't know Steve was behind the Total Gym, sold multi-billions of dollars, a particular product, became an infomercial giant. And then went on to pioneer the glutathione space with some amazing products where I met him 14 years ago. Steve is the amazing visionary and founder of the organization. So I'm going to hand you off to Steve.
Thank you, Michael. And what a delight to be with everybody here. We are, especially those that are in the Southern Hemisphere and don't get a chance to listen to our afternoon call here in the Northern Hemisphere. My background is pretty simple. I was a corporate failure. I couldn't succeed no matter how hard I tried, and I really tried. I just couldn't succeed. I had my degree in marketing from the business school at Arizona State University. I graduated in 1970, before some of you were born. And I thought I'm going to go out and just set the world on fire in the marketing and advertising world, only to flunk out of 9 jobs in my first 6 years after college. Right after I flunked out of job number 5, my best friend, Gary Smalley, was visiting me from Chicago. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. And Gary was the wisest man I knew. And we had become best friends. And I asked him, Gary, what's going on? I can't succeed no matter how hard I try, and I'm really trying. I know I'm not stupid. I have a good IQ. I'm not lazy. I'm first in, last out at every company I work for, even the big ones with thousands of employees. I'm there right after security gets there, and I go home when it's just me and security. And I understand my craft, which is marketing. I understand consumer psychology and behavior, but I just can't succeed. And Gary wisely said, he didn't try to shoot from the hip and say, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. He said, let me pray about it. The most wise thing he could have said. So he did. He went to his room and prayed that night. Next morning, he comes into our little tiny kitchen and says, how would you like to be wiser than all your bosses? And I literally said, yeah, right. I was 26 years old, had nothing but failure, and now something's going to make me wise all of a sudden. I didn't believe it. But he said, yeah, if you would do this for 2 years, in 2 years, you'll be wiser than all your bosses. And in 5 years, you'll probably be a millionaire. And that was really ridiculous. I didn't even have money for food. In fact, the only reason Gary and I could have breakfast that morning was 2 women in a Bible study that I taught had anonymously left groceries on the doorstep. That's how we had breakfast. It took me 35 years before I found out who they were. And I'm glad I did, because it was very sweet of them. Well, anyway, I said, okay, Gary, what do I do? And he said, 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, 31 days in the month. Every day, read the chapter of the day with pencil and paper in hand and write down the wisdom, the insights, the strategies that you see in Proverbs, and begin to apply those to your work as soon as you can. He said, do that for 2 years. You'll go through the book of Proverbs for 24 times, and I promise you it will change everything. All that's a direct quote, by the way. Well, like I say, he was the most wise man I had ever met, so I decided to give it a try. In the next 18 months, I went through Proverbs pretty close to 18 times, and I found these incredible insights. But I also went through job number 6, 7, and 8. And toward the 18th month, I actually entered job number 9. But by then, all these strategies came into focus. And even though I was nothing, I was at the bottom of the totem pole in the marketing department of this big catalog company, I was able to create a program that literally was going to double the company's sales from 30 million to 60 million. And I did it in 3 months. So with that, one of my dear friends, who was a brilliant entrepreneur, lived in Philadelphia, across the continent, and made the offer to me. He said, if you could find a product that you and I could sell on TV, you could quit your job, move back to Philadelphia, and we could create our own TV marketing company, and you could do for us what you just did for Ambassador. Well, 2 weeks later, a singer-entertainer who was world-renowned at the time in '76, Pat Boone, called me, and he had a product. So I bought the marketing rights to that product, acquired them, and moved back to Philadelphia. And with Bob's $5,000, we started our little TV company. Well, 5 months later, our sales hit $1 million a week. And it just kept coming in, week out, week after week after week after week after week. $1 million a week just kept coming in. Whoa. People say, how could that happen? Well, it happened because we found a breakthrough product. Now, a breakthrough product is something that can do something that nothing else in the world can do as effectively, efficiently, or economically. And that's what we had. Well, in the years that followed, over a 35-year period, we found many, many breakthroughs. We had a weight loss program that allowed people to lose weight without counting calories for the very first time. It was called Deal-A-Mill with Richard Simmons. And we had millions of people get on the plan. I had heard that over 1,000 people lost over 100 pounds. We had one guy break the Guinness Book of Records and lose 715 pounds, a guy named Michael out of Brooklyn. And it was amazing. Then we had another breakthrough in education. It was called Where There's a Will, There's an A. And John Ritter and Michael Landon were my spokespersons on that. It could literally turn a D student into an A student almost overnight. It was truly amazing. In fact, we have the brand Under Armour because Kevin Plank was a football player on a football team where they went through Where There's a Will, There's an A. And the professor that does Where There's a Will, There's an A tells the college kids, if you want to be an entrepreneur, don't wait till you graduate from college. Start while you're in college. And the football coach that was showing this to his team at the University of Maryland said, all you guys, I want you to come up with a business that you can start right here in college. And so Kevin, who was a special teams coach, came up to John Baxter, the coach, who was a good friend of mine, and said, Coach, I've got the business I want to start. He said, I make these shirts out of my sister's slips, and they keep me cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. So I'm going to get the team sizes from the equipment room, and I'm going to make 3 shirts. I'm going to give one to every player, and then I'll sell the other 2. And then when I graduate from college, I'll do it with other colleges. And Coach Baxter said, well, you can't call it My Sister's Slips. And he said, no, Coach, I've got a good name. He says, what are you going to call it? He says, Under Armour. And that's how Under Armour came. So that was from a breakthrough that we had. So we kept looking for breakthroughs, kept finding them. The one we're best known for is the Total Gym with Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley. That's been on the air for 26 years now. It's still on the air. And that one by itself has generated billions of dollars of sales. Well, in 2006, I met a medical doctor who was introduced through an investment banker, and the banker had told me this is going to be the biggest breakthrough you find in your lifetime. And I really thought he was full of soup, and because it's hard to find breakthroughs. QVC brought me over 1,000 products over a 5-year period. We had an exclusive contract with them. We never did one infomercial on one product because they weren't breakthroughs. And so I said, what is it? And he said, it's a word called glutathione. Glutathione is the single most important molecule in life. It's just as important as oxygen. There'd be no oxygen-based life on Earth without it. It performs over 400 functions in the human body that we know about. It may perform even more, but there's over 167,000 published studies in PubMed, scientific studies on that molecule. To put it in perspective, the second most studied molecule in molecular biology is vitamin C. And there's only 70,000, a little less than 70,000 studies on vitamin C. So it's this incredible molecule. And Dr. Keller went on, he told me about it. He's not only a medical doctor, he was a brilliant scientist. And he showed me his clinicals, and it looked great. So I went ahead, we put in $1 million and bought the rights to his product, put it out, and started selling it, and it did real well. And then another brilliant scientist from the University of Minnesota came to us, and we acquired those patents. And he too had a way to enhance glutathione levels. But both of those products enhance glutathione by trying to get L-cysteine. Now, let me tell you about glutathione for a second. It's made up of 3 molecules, 3 peptides: glutamine, glycine, and cysteine. The problem is we can't get enough cysteine. That's the limiting factor for the production, our body's production of glutathione. It's produced by every cell in the body, and it is critical. I mean, wait till you see some of the things it does. But the problem is you can't get glutathione through the stomach because the stomach acid breaks it apart. It's a very fragile molecule. So science has tried to get cysteine in, knowing that if they could successfully get cysteine in the cell, it would migrate into the nucleus, where it would be combined with the other 2 amino acids through a electrochemical process to create glutathione. Well, that worked to a degree, but I always thought, what would happen if we could nanosize glutathione? Now, a lot of people think when you nanosize a particle, you make it smaller. You don't. What you do is you make the concentrations of that particle smaller. You see, particles clump together in solution. So the first step in nanosizing, you have to separate the particles, and then you have about 20 millionths of a second to encapsulate those particles so they won't reagglomerate together. And the rest of the world uses fats or lipids. They surround those particles with fats so they won't come together. And now the particle size is a lot smaller because the clump is not there, okay? And that's great. But the problem is fats do 2 things that aren't that good. Number one, they add more mass or volume to the particles. So now you've arrived at a smaller particle size, but you've now increased it with a lipid. But the other thing is lipids aren't necessarily the cell's best friend. Okay, they're like sponges. Once they get into the cell, and they can absorb the toxins in the cell, and then you're stuck with that. You can't get it out. So science is divided. Scientists are divided on the value of encapsulating with lipids. We found a way to encapsulate with reorganized water molecules. The cell wants more water. And that allows us, one, to get to a much smaller particle size because water is not adding mass like a fat is. But secondly, as far as bioavailability and utilization in the cell, waters are cellular friendly. And the cell is designed to keep bad things out. and let good things in. And moisture is its best friend, just like glutathione is one of the cell's best friend. So anyway, we nanosized it to overcome the gut problem. But let's talk about a few things glutathione does. First of all, it's your body's master antioxidant. Why is that important? Every cell in your body is attacked 10 to 20,000 times a day by free radicals. Now, a free radical is a thief. It just wants to steal an electron from the cell. And when it does, it leaves the cell violated, could be damaged, but it also is vulnerable to other bad things. It creates oxidative stress, which creates inflammation inside the cell. Antioxidants work, and glutathione's an antioxidant, by donating one of their electrons to the free radical. And when they do that, they neutralize or sequester the free radical. And so the free radical can no longer damage the cell. And now vitamin C is a great antioxidant. You can ingest it. The problem is all antioxidants other than glutathione are what is called monofocused. They only each one deals with one type of free radical, but can't deal with any of the other types of free radicals. And there's many types of free radicals. Your body makes glutathione, it makes superoxide dismutase, it makes catalase, which are great antioxidants, but they too are monofocused. And so what happens when you've got a monofocused molecule, it donates its electron. Now it's spent. It's now worthless, except C and E can be recycled 3 to 5 times. And the recycling agent is glutathione. So now instead of 1 bullet, you got 3 to 5 in each of those molecules because of glutathione. But glutathione miraculously recycles itself. And it recycles itself over and over and over again. So many times scientists can't figure out how many times. Some say 30,000, some say 300,000 times. But it does it over and over again. And unlike other antioxidants that are monofocused, glutathione can handle any type of free radical, regardless of its source or structure. So that makes it your master antioxidant. But that's only one of its 400 functions. When your body manufactures hemoglobin, the red blood cells, those are intended to carry oxygen throughout the body. But the problem is it's improperly charged. So it can't bind to an oxygen molecule. It's like trying to bring north poles of magnets together. It just won't happen. So the only way around that is the hemoglobin has to be reduced to what's called a positive 2. Once that happens, it can bind to an oxygen molecule and deliver it where it's going. Glutathione is the sole reduction agent for hemoglobin. So it's just as important as oxygen because there'd be no oxygen transfer without it. It is also the sole protector of your mitochondrial DNA. Why is that important? Because as long as the DNA is kept intact, the cell can't mutate. What breaks the mitochondrial DNA, what compromises its integrity, is the chemical toxin load inside the cells. Now, every cell in your body has industrial chemicals. CDC says they've measured for up to 200 and found all 200 in your cells. Well, glutathione has a sticky sulfhydryl molecule that's kind of like flypaper, and it sticks to the chemical toxin and gets it out of the cell. Okay, so it's your body, it's your cell's primary detoxifier. Well, guess what? As the toxic load, as glutathione levels go up, the toxic load goes down, and consequently, we preserve the integrity of the mitochondrial DNA, glutathione does, for longer. And that's critical. Glutathione is also the primary chelator of the cell. Your cells have a lot of heavy metals. Glutathione is what gets them out. Glutathione is your cell's primary defense against oxidative stress. Why is oxidative stress a bad thing? Because oxidative stress creates inflammation in the cell. And inflammation is destructive to all the intended purposes of the cell. So if we can lower oxidative stress, we can lower the inflammation in the cell. And that's what glutathione does. So those are just a few of its incredible purposes. The problem is it declines as we age, 10% to 15% per decade. So I should have about 40, I'm 73, I should have about 45% of the glutathione in my cells today that I had at the age of 20. And yet the attack on my cells, both internally as well as externally, is as great today as it was when I was 20. So I'm trying to fight the battles, same intensity that I had to fight at 20. I'm now fighting at 73, but with less than half of the defense. One thing I didn't mention was glutathione is also the sole protector of the immune system. When you have higher levels of glutathione, your immune cells, mainly your T cell and your B cell, which are the cellular assassins to bacterial and viral insults, when you have low glutathione levels, the T cells reproduce slowly, okay, while the bacteria or virus is reproducing rapidly. Well, when we can increase the glutathione utilization in the cell, then the T cells can reproduce much more rapidly, more explosively, and they can more quickly handle and target and assassinate the bacteria and viral insults. So that's just a little bit. But now, how does it come down to practicality? How does it really work? Well, number one, what we have seen, by enhancing glutathione levels, we delay the onset of fatigue, both mental and physical. We delay the progression of fatigue, and we radically reduce recovery time from fatigue. So athletes find that if they do the same workout they do every day, that they recover from it much more rapidly, so rapidly that they can increase the intensity of their workouts and the frequency of their workouts. We've had athletes break world records on our product. We've seen amazing things in that. One of the athletes that we gave product to early on in 2008, he was world record holder in the bench press. He had set the world record of 804 pounds when he was 49 years old in 2008. Well, 10 years later, he's 59, and because of the loss of lean muscle, his lifts went down. He had to cut down the frequency of his workouts. He had to cut down the intensity of his workouts. His recovery times were longer, all those things. And he was down to benching around just a little over 700 pounds. Well, I got him our product. He was now 59. I've known him for many, many years. And his next meet, he went in and benched 725 pounds. And he was amazed. That was up from 705 pounds 2 weeks earlier. Well, as he started swishing, he found he could lift heavy instead of once a week. Lifting heavy is over 500 pounds for him. Instead of once a week, he could lift heavy 4 to 5 times a week. He could work out back muscles that he hadn't worked out in years. His recovery times had dropped radically. And so the frequency and the intensity of his workouts went through the roof. Well, in the next 6 months, as a 59-year-old, he moved his bench press to 915 pounds. Somebody asked me, is that like steroids? Not at all. It's just that when you can recover more quickly, you can work out with more intensity and more frequency. And that's what he was seeing. By the time when he was 60 years old, he added more weight to his bench. He won a meet benching 1,050 pounds. He just retired in January, and his last meet, the last lift of his career, it was his third attempt. He bench pressed 1,129.6 pounds, setting a world record that many people say will never be broken. Okay, well, another one of our athletes, she was a marathoner and a cyclist. So I sent her product. This is early on. And she was going to use it in a 100-mile race. Well, she got the product on a Wednesday, did a 30-minute sprint after she swished and broke her personal record. Next day, she did a 35-mile run on her bike. And again, she broke her personal record. So she's real excited. She goes to the race on Saturday. First leg, 35 miles, boom, she breaks her personal record again. And then the second leg was 2 miles into it. She got into an accident, went end over end on her bike, and hit the pavement so hard it knocked her out, broke her helmet, her face hit the ground at 22 miles an hour. And you can see the damage that was done. Well, the plastic surgeon came into her room on Sunday and said, that's going to take about 5 weeks to clear. And once it's cleared, wait a month and then come in and see me, and we will work out a protocol for dealing with the scars. Well, she gets home Tuesday night from the hospital and she thinks, what? This stuff's nano. Maybe if I put some on a cotton ball, put it on my face, maybe I can see some clearing more rapidly. So she did it once Tuesday night, then 3 times on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and look at the results. I think there we go. There's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, completely cleared. Freaked out everybody. When I saw that, I thought, my goodness, we probably have the world's best skincare product. I had sold hundreds of millions of dollars in skincare. I had different lines. I had Cher on one line, Kathy Lee Gifford on a line, Meredith Baxter Burney on a line, Angie Dickinson, all these women on different lines. And I understood skincare. The only problem was it's hard to get a good before and after with skincare. Really hard. That's why most skincare commercials, you never see before and afters. Well, look what happened. I put some in a spray bottle, sent it out to a friend, and I told her, spray your face 5 times a day and let's see what happens. And I did that with a few friends. Well, she sent me this picture 7 weeks later. Oh my gosh. I had never seen a before and after like that. It wasn't like a couple wrinkles disappeared. It's like she had a facelift, but she didn't. And so I sent this and some other pictures to the guy who used to formulate our skincare. He was president of the American Society of Cosmetic Chemists, brilliant chemist and formulator. When he saw these, he said, Steve, nobody in the world has a product that does this. I said, I know. And so we went ahead and we also nanosized some other skincare ingredients, hyaluronic acid and collagen, put it into a skincare treatment, and the results have been amazing. Let's go ahead and go down, Raimai. There you see a woman from Australia, and she used it on her face for 30 days. Now, of course, it didn't change her eyebrows or lips. Those were tattooed, so she doesn't have to use makeup all the time. But she said everybody that saw her after this first 30 days would say, how have you lost your weight? They all thought she lost weight, but she hadn't. Her face had tightened up, as you can see. The pore size diminished, or the appearance of the pores. Her face just looks so much healthier. She looks younger, healthier. Now, these are my hands. Oh, go ahead, Ryan. These are my hands when I was much younger. I was 71 in 2018, and I decided to spray my right hand, but not spray my left hand. And I did it 4 or 5 times a day, probably for 7 or 8 weeks. And you can see the results. Smoother, a lot smoother, better. The texture was much better. The appearance of the lines and wrinkles had been radically diminished. And I used to show people that when they'd come live, and nobody could believe it. Well, we'll close with just this last 2. The lady on the left is actually the mother of a doctor that was treating one of our Neumi family members, associates in Nigeria. And she said, wow, I can't believe your face. What are you doing? And she pulled out Neumi skin, showed her, sprayed it. And she said, hey, could I get some for my mom? So she took it home to her mom, the doctor did. And look at this. This was just 3 or 4 weeks later. Look at the difference. Look how her eyes opened up. Look at just everything about her face was changed. Now, the guy on the right, he's the brother of one of our double diamonds, Alex Monterosa. This guy lives in Dallas. And he saw those results in less than, Alex told me it was 4 days, but give it a little leeway. Maybe it was a week, but it was really amazing. Okay, so that's basically what I want to say. We have the world's best skincare product in my mind. We have the world's best supplement in my mind. What we're seeing all over the world, nobody's ever seen. It is truly amazing. Because it enters directly into your bloodstream, it doesn't get destroyed by the stomach. From the time it enters your bloodstream, I've been told by a scientist at the University of Utah that it's out of the bloodstream in about 70 seconds and already being utilized by the cells. That's why we see such incredibly fast results. And because we own the process, we actually manufacture it right here in our facility. And then we send big 300-gallon containers down to our bottler, and they bottle it about an hour south of here. And then it goes to our fulfillment house. Well, because of that, we're able to keep the cost way down, which leaves room for a nice markup, and yet still not expensive. We're 25% lower than our competition that are in glutathione enhancement. And then on top of that, we have more play for commissions. So we worked with Michael, we worked with our advisory board members, and we created a compensation plan that one expert who's looked it up, a bunch of them, said he thinks we're the most generous compensation plan, very simple but generous, than any other network marketing company he's looked at. Aaron Rennert is our president. He's been in network marketing. He's been running a network marketing company as the general manager and head of sales and marketing, and took that company from the United States into 42 countries. He is a gift to our company, an incredible gift that God dropped right in our lap, just like our scientist who's been in nano for 20 years. And so I want to turn it over to Aaron so you can meet him for a second. And Aaron, it's yours.
Well, Steve, thank you. And for everybody on the call tonight and tomorrow morning and whenever it is that you happen to be alive in this world, I want to thank you for being here, because first and foremost, it wouldn't happen without you. I want to also recommend that we think about some of the things that people are looking for when they get involved in network marketing. And one of the things that I recognized when I was younger, I did some mergers and acquisitions for a very large natural gas company here in America, second largest one in America. And so we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of interesting things looking into the details on companies. But one of the things that we always look for is the same thing that you're looking for. You want to find a very stable and secure company, and you want somebody with track record at the helm. You want people that really understand the business. They really understand what they're doing on a daily basis. And as you can hear from Steve Scott, he is an amazing, amazing leader. He has an incredible background that we can draw from those experiences. He's a guy that comes in and he'll sit down and throw out some suggestions on some copy or some wording or some things like that. And everybody just is mesmerized when you hear it, because that's his background. That's his experience. And so we get to draw from that every day. But the other thing that a lot of people are looking for, and the thing that they really, really want, is a product that is extremely unique, a product that nobody else has, a product that is something that you can only get from one place, one unique area, and that is our glutathione product. It's our Swish product. It gives you the ability to go out and really change the world that we live in, give people an opportunity to have success with a product that they've never experienced before in their past. In a quick demonstration, experiential, people are seeing results, and that is what we love. And then giving people a compensation plan that can really give people an opportunity to earn income based on their efforts, based on their resources, based on the time and energy that they put into the business. And again, whatever that may be, from the newest person in the industry to the biggest veterans or the biggest professionals in the industry, we have an equitable plan that allows everybody to earn and be rewarded for the efforts that they put in. And that, for me, is an absolute game changer, because we want everybody to have success. And as you guys know, we've got an incredible system that people can duplicate from. And that is really something that a lot of people have a tough time understanding. But you've got to have systems. One of the things that I love about Ryan Scott, that you guys had him freeze a little bit on the way into the call tonight, is that Ryan understands systems. He understands the technology. So we're trying to put things in your hands and give you guys education, white papers, ebooks, suggested ways to learn and educate others so that you can have success. So my recommendation right now, as the president and CEO of this company, is to have you go back to the person that invited you to this call, have a conversation with them, place an order. And I always tell people, what's the worst thing that can happen if you end up ordering today? You may have a couple $100 or $100 worth of product sitting in the corner of your house. Big deal. But if you use it and you try it and you have that experiential relationship with the product that everybody's having, well, guess what? We've done our job, you've done your job, and the people that have invited you to learn more about Neumi have done their job. So get back with the person that invited you, and for those that are on the call, the fortunes in the follow-up. Get back with the people that you've invited. Have a conversation with them. Talk a little bit about the energy. Talk a little bit about Steve Scott. Talk a little bit about Aaron Rennert. Not that there's a lot to talk about, but have a conversation about those people that are here to support you and give you the necessary tools that will allow you to finally have success in this industry that you may have never had in the past because you didn't have that support. We've got some of the most incredible leadership here at this company, and you've got an opportunity to join with some of the most incredible leaders that I've ever had assembled in one company at one time. And I'm seeing it every single day. As a matter of fact, I had a call this morning with two individuals that are still nameless and faceless in the company. But we have that going on all over the world because people are really trying to protect everything that they built. And we're giving them opportunities to do so here. But we had this conversation, and literally, it was a game changer for this person. He said, 4 years, I've just been kind of watching from the sidelines. And now I'm in a company that I feel at home, that I can start building with, that I can really bring people to and feel confident in the executive management team, in the field leadership, and bring people into a family of people that speak from the heart. And that's what we are. So when you talk to those people tonight, tomorrow morning, wherever you guys happen to be, have a conversation with them, because I'm telling you, you're going to find out that we are one of the few companies out there that really have a heart that listens to the field, that takes direction from the field. I've always been a guy that is led by the field. I want to make sure that we learn and listen and educate ourselves in corporate from the people that are out there doing the business every day out in the field. So folks, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night, and I look forward to chatting with you again every day. We do it at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. This same channel, this same type of call, invite your people to it. And again, we're doing these every Thursday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We want you to bring these people to these calls. We want you to have an opportunity to give them a place to go, an impending event. And we're doing them, again, like I said, every day on the same channel at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, and every Thursday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Folks, certainly appreciate everybody being here. Have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great week. And we look forward to catching up with you soon. Thanks, everybody.